Hi, this is Max Rodersman from Does It Matter? And today is October 28th, and we have Craig Kelly reporting from Georgia. Hi, Craig. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, Maxie. How you doing?
Great.
Super.
So, have you seen any activity outside the election?
No, I have seen nothing outside of these election booths, and I've been now at I don't know 5 or 6, and I've been here 12 days. This is my 12th day of poll watching. I have seen virtually nothing that would raise eyebrows. It's very interesting, and when I say virtually nothing, there are some things that make me wonder what Republican strategy is, but I've seen nothing in terms of the disruptions that people read about on the news, like those armed vigilantes in Maricopa County, Arizona, by the ballot boxes and so forth. I've seen none of that.
Well, that's good.
It's
I
it's
was
really it's really interesting. And not only that, but I'm walking around the parking lot because it gets boring sitting all the time, and I'm looking at bumper stickers, and I'm not seeing any bumper stickers. Like not even, an Abrams or a Kemp bumper sticker. There are no bumper stickers. A lot of yard signs. I've seen a lot of yard signs. But even the yard signs are just yard signs. Like Kemp, Abrams, whoever, Warnock. Um, not these ones like I saw coming in, and like I've been sort of chronicling throughout the country of hate-filled messages from Republicans to a larger audience. So there was a big billboard when I got into Georgia that said "Democrats hate America," and that's the sort of messaging that I've seen on back streets and side roads for what is it, almost 2 years now that I've been following this stuff, and I have not seen that in any meaningful way here. A little bit, but really not much. No Confederate flags. Um, the things that make the news and that I personally have seen lots of over the past couple of years, I have not seen in this election.
well. Are you in neighborhoods that you would call poor, middle class, or wealthy?
Boy, I can't tell you honestly, Max. I've been all over. I've driven more in the past 11 days, just going to and from my various polling booths than I've driven in probably 10 years as far as the commute goes. And I don't know what my neighborhoods are. Because of all my biking, I can tell a poor neighborhood, I believe, when I bike through it. You're going slow enough and you're on side streets and you can see sort of what condition the house is in or the car is in or so forth. Driving around here, a lot of times I'm on major roads, so I'm going through strip malls, or on highways, so I'm going through highways. And even when I'm not on those roads, the yards are big, there are a lot of trees and so forth. Now, I would say where I am is relatively prosperous. Certainly, I'm traveling in the morning, it's dark out, and at night, it's dark out, so I can't say it for sure. You do hear people talking as they pass through the voting lines and so forth. And I think people don't feel like they're rich necessarily, no matter where they came from. But I think that's just part of our human condition, where we are programmed to worry about scarcity, even when maybe objectively it doesn't exist.
Right. So I saw in the news that Mr. Pelosi was attacked. Do you have any? I don't know much of the details, but I have some thoughts. But
I,
what are your thoughts?
I don't know the details of that either, Max. I just don't think it's probable that this was random or personal. I gotta think it's got something to do with his politics, or more especially the politics and the position of his wife. And it fits very well in keeping with a larger plan by Republicans to deny election results they don't like, to kidnap the governor of Michigan, and one of the conspirators there just got sentenced to 7 years in jail, to overturn the presidential election by storming the Capitol and helping to kill police officers. This is all a theme of violence and intimidation that Republicans have sort of adopted as a mainstream. And I'm surprised Americans do not get more anxious about this, because once you take away the security of elected officials, and poll workers, once you take away their belief that they can do their jobs and be safe, what you have is anarchy, and then what you have is fascism. And we see how that turns out time and time again in history. It's bad for everyone.
Well, my pushback on that is, one, we don't know that his attacker it had anything to do with the Republican Party.
Right. I didn't say that he did, Max.
Yeah,
But I said
I
that
know.
I'd be surprised if it didn't. And
right.
even if he doesn't, and I believe it's a he, have anything to do with the Republican Party, it is absolutely true that the Republican Party and its luminaries both are raising violence to a level of political sort of workmanship that encourages this sort of activity. So this is Trump's whole argument. I didn't tell them to storm the Capitol. Well, if you start getting people pissed off about stuff, can you really be surprised and claim ignorance when they grab the pitchforks? And my answer is no. The Republicans as a party have really been embracing this sort of intimidation and violence rhetoric, and they are to blame for what happens when people act on it, whether or not those people are Republicans or not.
Well, I'll be curious to see what the details are, but my first impression is, number one, he's a very wealthy man as far as I know, and because of her visibility, I can't believe they wouldn't have the best security that money can buy.
I am shocked.
So,
I think there's a story there too, and it is possible, Max, that this was utterly, completely 100% random or 100% possible. But my point is, even if this person was not motivated by being a registered Republican, he is still probably someone who is impacted by the hate-filled rhetoric of the Republicans and the violence that is increasingly associated with the Republican Party.
Right, but I think the point I would make is not, let's even just assume that he is a Republican nut job. What I find questionable is there's very little detail on what happened. Like the police chief of that area didn't do a news conference and say, so-and-so scaled the fence and ran into the house and did this, or they had a meeting and he went berserk. So I don't like the way that she has, they've managed the message to only tell what they want to tell. It doesn't feel like there's
there may
an
be
independent.
nothing else to tell right now, Max. You don't want the police chief speculating, do you? It's
No,
fine
but
for Craig Kelly to speculate. Are you saying the police chief, who is not yet in command of all of the facts, should start issuing press conferences about what they think happened?
No, but they do it all the time. No. I never said. No, I never said that. But a police chief will.
You accuse them of controlling the story.
Hold on. Yes, because the police chief doesn't have to come on and speculate about what happened, but they can come on and give the most basic facts of what transpired.
The basic facts may still not yet be clear.
I'm sure they're clear. No. I'm sure the basic facts are clear. What, you think they don't know how he got into the house?
The basic facts, they may not.
Again, this is why I think, people don't trust, politicians, whether Democrat or Republican. Because they're spinning the story from the beginning.
How is there a spin going on? The guy got assaulted in his house, and
how did he get in the house?
That's a spin?
How did he get in the house?
You don't know.
Who is he? You tell me they don't know who he is?
I don't know that they have the ability to release his name. I'm sure they know who he is, but as part of an ongoing investigation.
What do you mean ongoing? I mean, his name is his name. I mean, what is ongoing? I mean, do you think that they're going to get the name wrong?
His name is his name, but if he is involved with other people, it's an ongoing investigation. So you don't want to tell everyone in the world, this is what we know, because you want to see if there are other things you might learn. I don't know why you or anyone else should be surprised that at this level in an investigation, what we perceive to be easy facts aren't already out there. Do we know how, for example, pick a simple fact. I've already explained why in the course of an investigation early on, certainly, you may want to keep names private, to keep people that might be persons of interest from saying, hey, wait a minute, time for me to erase my text or whatever. What else might be a relevant fact that you think is something they should know and share at this point?
I'm talking about the perception of many people that will look at this and say it's not about an ongoing investigation. I mean, yes, you're making the argument, okay, we got to hide some facts because we need to investigate accomplices or whatever. But many people just look at it, no, it's not really that. They know what's going on. They just want to manage what they let out that serves their interests and not anybody else's. It's not about the truth. It's about what truth they want to portray.
Well, if that's how people feel, I don't know that I can
Yeah,
help them with that.
well,
But I
true,
can
but then
see,
that they're the ones that will side with Republicans on stealing the elections, because if the other side says there's no elections being stolen, but hey, somebody magically got into a billionaire's house and attacked
a huge
him.
jump there, Max. You're making the jump from election stealing to assaulting someone in the house. If I were assaulted in my house and the cops showed up and they caught someone, um, would they say, "Oh, we know it all now"? No, they wouldn't, because they have an investigation to do.
I
And in
just want the
fact,
name.
when I had stuff stolen, when I had stuff stolen from me, I was unable to get a lot of information because the cops were working on it. They're like, "Well, we're talking with this, we're talking with that." I understand if we still don't know anything in 2 days, and I agree that when you're the Speaker of the House and something happens, you got to be really quick and transparent with what happened, why, what we know, what we think we can tell you, what we can't tell you. We cannot tell you the name of this person because of A, B, C, and D. We can't tell you how they got in the house because we're still conducting a security audit. We can't tell you what the weapon of the assault was. There's lots of good reasons why they can't tell us stuff. And if what you're saying is, well, let us know what those good reasons are, then I'm with you entirely. You, no one gains anything by lack of transparency here, even if the transparency is to say we can't tell you this stuff and this is the reason why. I think you and
Yeah,
I
all I'm
might be on
saying
the
is
same
that
page there.
I'm only saying my perception of Pelosi is that she's managing the story to whatever agenda she has. She's not trustworthy. She's not interested in transparency.
Her husband
And
just got assaulted and beaten. I'm not sure how quickly you want her to say, "Oh, here's what happened." How
I
is she
want her to
spinning?
come out and say, I hired that guy.
How is
He
she spinning?
questioned my asparagus, and I hired a
How is
guy
she
to.
spinning anything, Max? As far as I know, she's barely issued a statement. She's certainly not out there saying this is a Republican plot to take over America.
Reporters
And
called the local police and they said what happened, and they said we're in an ongoing investigation and we're not going to speak. And the reason they did that is because she called them or somebody called them and said, "Don't
you
talk
know that,
about
Max.
this
You
yet."
know that somebody called them.
No, I'm just speculating,
Okay, then say that you're
like
speculating. Don't
everybody else.
pretend. See, you're no, not well, maybe like everybody else, but that's one of the problems, Max, is people like you say some bullshit thing like it's a fact, and it's not. If you're gonna speculate, say that you speculate, or stop wasting everyone's time.
You were this
This
close
is
to calling me an idiot. I can get you there.
You're not an idiot, but you make jumps that I
Yeah.
think are very unhealthy for democracy. And
I'm
they're not
making
new
jumps that
by the
many
way.
people are making that you don't address except by calling people idiots. You can't stop people from making the jump. It's a reasonable
No,
jump.
I just told you how I think it should be addressed, Max. Maybe you're not
You're speculating.
listening because you're
You
already jumping into the next silly conclusion that you're going to make. But my
you're
point was, from a messaging standpoint, Nancy Pelosi, the Democratic Party, the police department, everyone involved would be well advised to say, "Hey, this is what we know that we can share with you. This is what we can't share with you for these reasons. It's an ongoing investigation. There might be accomplices. We're still assessing security issues, blah, 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 blah." Um, a brief statement of, what is it, 25 words that the husband of the Speaker of the House, the third in succession to the presidency, got assaulted in their home. I agree with you. That is not enough. There needs to be a lot more there. I'm just saying that the lot more may simply be a believable, reasonable, understandable, correct explanation of why we can't get into a lot of details right now. But I think you and I are both on the same page. You can't you can't just leave it where it is and think people will say, "Oh, okay, that's good enough for me."
There's only room for one on my idiot boat. All right, well, we're at 15 minutes, so let's leave it
All
here.
right. Okay.
And thanks for the update from Georgia, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.